Hey guys, welcome back to another Starcraft BroodWar cast. Today we have a D Rank Terran versus Zerg. Not a game that I am an absolute expert in, but I really do enjoy it. Today's replay comes from my friend WhiskeyDingo, playing under the Spurf name T3S4Me. And he is playing against Terran, who we don't know, on the ladder, and he has chosen the Smurf name Fiasco. So let's get into this one. I'm pretty excited to see what both players bring to the table. And yeah, so this is what we do here. We cast all levels of Starcraft BroodWar ladder matches. We get entertained, we call the action, and we have a load of fun. So if you like Starcraft BroodWar, then you're definitely in the right place, man. Alright, so we're starting with, I think, a overpool, which is a little bit unusual. I think for the most part you tend to see hatchery first, but this is also fine. Overpool is kind of a middle of the road build. Here we go to send down our second hatchery slightly later, which is fine. On cross spawns, I think this early Zergling pressure is not going to be able to do too much. If I didn't mention already before, this is a D rank clash, around about 1400 versus 1450, that sort of MMR level. So definitely on the lower side of the tiers, but not going to make the games any less entertaining. So we have a wall, and oh, Zerg's going to get some pressure done here. Getting in, and he's going to have to do something with his SCVs because this is doing a lot of damage. What is Zerg's follow-up going to be, though? I think the SCVs are going to clean this up, but it'll be what he does next that really matters the most. He's got his SCVs on top of this. Is he reinforcing with more lings? No, and he's not going into lair either. I still think that's a very good open. He has killed a fair number of SCVs, stopped the building on this command center, stopped the building on this depot, stopped SCV production, so I think Fiasco's frozen a little bit. And behind this, the lair is down, and it'll be interesting to see if his follow-up is immediately into a spire, or if he maybe does a quick lurker build. Alright, so let's see. So we're still carrying on with our command center. I think it was a little bit ambitious of Terran to just presume a hatch first build and to build a command center so quickly. I think he got caught out a little bit there because he had fewer Marines than he otherwise would have had. But I still think it's a playable game from here. Let's see how he responds and how he progresses in his build if he moves into Academy, second racks, etc. I think he should have taken his gas already, considering this command center is complete. So I think a couple of other basic errors being made by the Terran player at this stage. Okay, so on this side, Zerg's got a sunken, which is fairly standard. Usually a wall of 2 or 3 in the early game are put in play just to fend off any early bio pressure until such time as the spire is complete. So it looks like our Zerg player is going to go into Mutalisk Harassment, which is probably the most standard way that the early game of this match tends to transpire. Okay, so we have a landed command center. We're not building SCVs. We're not building another refinery. We're not building any depots. We're flying back our barracks, so we're not producing any units. We have started our eBay, which is good. The other thing, I think, because he's got the money, is he should have already started his academy as well. Lagging behind a little bit on his build, which concerns me because he's going to be very vulnerable to Mutalisk Harassment because he's going to have Marines without stem. I don't know if his turrets are going to be up on time, so I have a little bit of a concern about our Terran player, and I think he's just been a bit rattled, to be honest, by how the early game transpired. Look, the spire is still a little way off, but Zerg has banked up plenty of cash. This Overlord has popped, so he's just unlocked the supply. This is actually beautiful timing. So I think the Marines will pop from all the available eggs. The Muters will pop from all the available eggs. And will our Terran be ready? Okay, well, to his credit, these turrets have gone up. I like the placement. I think perhaps another one here or here would also be good. None in the main at this stage except here, which is, I don't think, the best location. I think a location here, here, maybe over here. Like I said, I'm not an expert in this game, but I am going on what I've seen experienced Terran players do to deal with Mulus harassment, and that's what I tend to see. A base far away, a third, and I think this is done with the confidence that Zerg has a lead, and that it's going to take time and confidence for Terran to potentially scout and or punish this. So the map control is gained by these Mutalisks. So let's see what our Zerg player can get done with him. So it goes in, pops down an FPV. It's only one turret. I think he can get it. He can get it. Oh, okay, so it doesn't need to be repaired. All his Marines are here. He needs to fly around. He needs to fly around and check if Terran has placed turrets everywhere else that he needs to. Alright, so let's see, he's doing exactly that. So you'll see this random turret here and nothing else. This is very harassable if he sees it. Does he come around? Okay, he's just kind of parking here. How many do we have? 8. 8 is a fair amount. He can take this turret out. And I think he will. I think when he realizes there's nothing, that turret will go down and then he'll try and pick off SCVs. Oh, this is a good place. I didn't see this before. And this. Okay, so this is good. I think these mutas have got to get out of here now. Building up a decent bioports. And, oh, that was his last muta this, but he's picked up those 2 Marines nicely. Good harassment from Zerg. Terran's not building SCVs. Zerg is not really droning behind this either. And this is a problem though for Terran, because Terran needs to pull ahead in workers, and in time Zerg can catch up. It should never be the other way around. I think that the muta harassment has probably played at the courts now, and I see that I think Zerg agrees because he's transitioning into lurkers, which is the next stage of the build, and then potentially into hive tech. So marine range is going to be very helpful, fending off the mutalisks because they can obviously then hit them from a further distance, and marine range will be absolutely essential when lurkers are on the field. So I do have a concern that, okay, so he's got his scanners up, but I do have a concern that there's no factory on the field yet, because it means that vessels and any upgrades beyond +1, which +1 defense hasn't started, or +1 armor hasn't started yet, but any upgrades beyond +1 cannot be started until that science vessel is in play. So we need to see some progression in our Terran's build order sooner rather than later, or I think they're going to be in some serious trouble. Okay, so still parking off here, popping in and out with the Mutalist, staying active. Very good, nicely played. Good APM at this level, absolutely. Very good continuous harassment with the Mutalisks, and identifying when he can win a fight and taking it. I think his decision making has been excellent. I think these mutas are getting a bit low now, so I think he's perhaps overextending here a bit. I think he could lose probably all of them, although he's got more reinforcements. So, I mean, if we look now, supplies are fairly even. So Terran has done really well to hold on tight. He's started to get the SCV numbers, or the building SCVs again, which I think he's probably missed a trick in that regard. In other words, could have been doing that all along. But by no means out of this game. I think if he can take a third, get his barracks count up to about 8, get some vessels out, he can certainly compete. But on the current tech tree that he's got now, probably not. It'll be interesting to see when or if our Zerg player gets into hive tech. These drones are on strike because, you see, as soon as you say something, it's like they're listening to you. It really is. Alright, so we've got very low saturation here, which I think that's something that our Zerg friend is working on by droning up a bit. This is quite heavily saturated. This is okay. So potentially a transfer from the natural to the third, or just a droning up on the third would be a good idea. And our Terran friend is moving out, but he's moving out in a conga line, which is not good because it gives the Mutalisks an opportunity to pick off the straggling Marines, and more importantly, to pick off these medics, who are very, very key to making the attacks from the Marines viable. Where is he going? Did he scan this bottom right? It looks like he did. Alright, so how is our... Oh, he's got lurkers on the ramp. So he is going to be just fine. This is always so sad as a Terran fan. Okay, so he stopped, which is good. Behind this is some more Mutalisks harassment, but I just want to see what happens when they try and go up here. Oh! Okay, so you realize that that's no good. Alright, so the mutants have moved out, or the Marines have moved out, so the mutants have pounced. But again, a good hold. A good hold. Very calm. Spending his money well, banking up a lot of gas, but that's going to be very useful soon when he starts to build science vessels. So let's have a look what our tech tree on the Terran side looks like. Where is our factory? There it is. Here's our starport. Here's our science facility. Alright, so we're almost there to the point where vessels are coming out. And when that happens, Terran is going to be in a very strong position. Alright, so Terran is moving towards the the natural of Zerg, which I think is beautifully fortified by Sunkens and Lurkers. So he's not going to break this, not with the forts he's got at the moment. Attempted backstab here with some lings. I think he's got enough to hold this. Oh, it's going to be close. He's just going to get in. Oh no. Okay, but there's a few more, mainly medics coming down. They should be able to tighten this up. Alright, and he's got some more here to reinforce if he needs to. Let's try and see. Oh, it's a good pickup on the turrets. And now these mutants are jumping onto this. There's only one turret left. But they pulled away. How many are here? 7. He's kept these alive really well. It's been very good. Alright, so perhaps another turret who's going to go up here. Both worker counts on both sides of this game are still actually quite low, to be honest. So this side's going quite nicely. I don't know if I'm Zerg, I'm investing in static defense here. I think taking another hatchery and investing in the static defense there is probably a better way to go. Certainly the amount of map control I have with my lurkers, my mutalisks, I think that expanding or taking that natural and building my static defense there like it is on this side would be a better play for what it's worth. Okay, so turrets are back up. Tanks are out, which I think is a strategy to try and pick off lurkers on the high ground once the science vessels provide that visibility. I was hoping this was a command center to take a third, but it is not, and there doesn't seem to be one in the production tab. Its overlord just decided he didn't want life anymore. Oh my god, 2 HP! And then he gets picked off by the Marines, so he just didn't want to live anymore, and that's that. This is a lot of mutas, man. Wow. Okay, so Terran is back up to close in supply, but Zerg are so far ahead. Zerg in almost every matchup needs to lag in supply. They're not, they're ahead. Scourge could come out now to pick off some of these science vessels. This base is under threat, and I think what's going to swing this battle in Zerg's favor is going to be the Mutalisk. So let's see, this is quite an exciting one. No other battles to miss, so this is the place to be focusing. So let's see how quickly our Zerg reacts. Okay, so he's firing here. A little bit of harassment there, but that's not really going to cause anybody too much concern now. Is he going to consolidate the forces and bring the other mutas from back here? Or is he just going to leave them? Oh, here comes some more lings. Oh, he's going to flank. He's going to flank. Here come the lings. And then the mutas are going to pull in and take down the siege tank. But I think Terran's going to get an advantage here, although these lurkers are going to be really hard to break. Oh, is they going to pull more units from somewhere else? He's used the scanner to see the lurkers. There's only 2 here, and there really isn't much else to defend this base. It's difficult to say how critical this base actually is within the greater context of the game. There's probably about 10 drones here. There's 2 hatcheries, which is important. I missed that he's got himself hive tech. But here comes some slow ultralisks, which will be very helpful. I think his plan here is to just hold as long as he can, and then move out. Has he got a Nidus to reinforce this? No. Here he's put the Ultras cabin here, that's why I didn't see it. I reckon his plan is to move out with the Ultras when he has enough. He's a bit gas starved, which is a challenge, but I think a flank with cracklings, and some Ultras is going to tidy this up. So we're going to see a hit from both sides here momentarily. And Terran fans, close your eyes and look away, guys. Although here comes some reinforcements, but they're not going to get to this force. They're all just going to die. This is going to be a very inefficient trade. Although they are drawing them away. And this is just going to be a little bit of a stalemate. There's a big convergence about to happen. Ultras over here, Lings over here, more units back here. Fights happening there. This is still pretty static. Good irradiates on the Ultras, very helpful. Although does make it easier for them to kill the bio in front of them. So it's a little bit of a double-edged knife, the irradiates on the ultras, but well done. Should be able to irradiate here. And here he tries to come up. The lurkers are doing their damage. The medics are doing their thing. And there's too few medics here. Too many medics, not enough marines, sorry. And he's going to defend this fight off and hold the space, which was huge. And very well done by Zerg. The only thing I would say is he's probably either missing a few rounds of macro or perhaps 1 or 2 hatcheries light, because he's floating a little bit of money at the moment. Okay, so we're moving in a crowd of Zerglings here. I think he's setting up to try and storm the natural when Terran overexplodes it. And he's also doing something very clever, which I've given him very little credit for so far in this game, and that's denying this third base, which has been absolutely critical, because although they do say Terran can stay on 2 bases forever, their money is starting to get quite low. Okay, so I think Zerg's still very much in control in this game. It's been a very good game, very competitive, very back and forth, good fights. I've really enjoyed it. I think the critical point now is getting this third base up, and I think Terran realizes this. He's putting his energy in here. He's not worrying about attacks and that sort of thing. And Zerg realizes that denying this base is how he wins. So he can deny it by trying to fight the army, or he can deny it by backstabbing and killing the SCVs that would be transferred to mine at this base. So Zerg's got 2 options here. It'll be interesting to see which one he chooses to exercise. Alright, so just doing a quick base count. So we've got our 2 here, and we've got, wow, we're only on 3 bases, about to go on to 4. I think that's, well, honestly, that's a bit of a surprise. I would have expected Zerg to have already been on 4. But nonetheless, this is it. This is the spot. He's double expanding, and if this is allowed to happen, Terran will definitely win. So we need to see. I don't agree that moving out here is the right call. I think there is nothing more important for Terran than to establish this base. And so turtle up, defend these areas, get a few bunkers down, put a bunker over here, keep your units together. Don't go out into the map in the conga line and lose all your units inefficiently. I think this is a very bad blow. Yes, the fight's going okay, but your energy is away from where it needs to be, and now you're being counterattacked, and you have lost a whole heap of units that would have helped you. Now, what do? Do you move this back to try and defend here, or do you keep going? And he's stuck. He's doing neither. He's not doing anything with those units, and this is going to be the end of the game. A really, really entertaining game. I actually do enjoy TVZ much more than I thought, and I'm starting to understand this match and really enjoy this match more and more. So here we see he's going to go as a last hurrah, try and break this, even though he's watching his home get wrecked all at the same time. Zerg's not going to have any problem reinforcing and taking out this army at a certain point in time, but right now this damage here is so critical that it isn't really going to much matter on this side. Taking out a few science vessels, although they picked off the Scourge. That was nicely done. Alright, how much penetration is he getting here? Oh, this is huge. These ultras are in the main. Any marine reinforcements that are being produced are being killed as they come out. These mutas could be helping, but I think he's forgotten about them. But I think with Lings and Ultras on their own, it'll be more than enough to polish this off, and I think we'll be seeing GG momentarily. There it is. Great game. Good D rank. Terran versus Zerg ladder action. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's have a look at the scores quickly. So yeah, just a little bit low on the production and on the resource side. I think that really cost the Terran player. Not producing enough SCVs, expanding too late, but a good game. If you enjoy this, then tune in for more ladder action. I'm Rabbit Roo, and I'll see you soon.